Okay, before getting into the today's newspaper analysis, I have a certain updates with regards to the other social media handles of Ganesh IAS Academy. The Ganesh IAS Academy operates not only on the YouTube social media platform but also in the other social media platforms like Telegram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Reddit, so on and so forth. The link for all of these social media platforms is given below. So go and have a look into it, where the current affair related materials and also the exam related information will be shared regularly on a day-to-day basis, okay, which is very important for the students those who are preparing for competitive examination. Okay, let's get into the today's newspaper analysis. Mentioned here are the list of articles which we are going to have the analysis in the upcoming slides. So have a look into it. Okay, let's get into the today's analysis, today's articles analysis one by one in the upcoming slides. MSP issues. So what government committee has set up in 2022 has done so far. So post the protest of the agriculture farmers in the Delhi, government has set up a government committee in 2022 to reduce or do away with the grievance of the farmers. So what the committee has done so far, the analysis of this, the news is related to the analysis of it. Okay, let's look into the linkage of the news with the examination. Under prelims, the news is related to economic and social development. Similarly, under mains, it is related to issues relating to direct and indirect farm subsidies and MSPs and PDS, which comes under GS paper 3, economic and development. Okay, let's look into the details of the news. So the demand for farmers is to enact a law to guarantee MSP for all the crops as per the formula recommended by MS Swaminathan Commission. So this is the demand being right now being made by the farmers, those who are protesting in the Delhi. And the committee as appointed in 2022 post the previous protest that has happened in Delhi. The committee was appointed by Center in 2022 to deliberate on ways to make MSP more effective as well as transparent. This panel was formed after the formula has been repealed by Prime Minister, and the committee's term of reference don't include a legal guarantee for MSP. So this is what the committee's detail is about. Okay, let's look into the broader aspect of the committee. So the committee was set up to provide zero budget based framing and its recommendation, and also to recommend the changing cropping patterns in India according to, and what are the things need to be made so that there will be diversification in the cropping pattern which will suit our climatic condition and also the climate related goals which India has pledged in the international arena. Thirdly, to make the MSP more effective as well as transparent. So these are all the three broader objectives under which the committee has been formed, and the committee has 26 members and it is being headed by Sanjay Agarwal, who is the Secretary of Agriculture. And under the category of farmers representatives, the committee has three positions for the members of SKM, which is the umbrella body for the other farmer union. So this organization has led the protest during 2022, but SKM hasn't joined the committee so far. So what is the purpose of the panel? The panel has been decided to the panel has been formed to decide on the matters like what are all the things that need to be done to promote the zero budget natural farming in India, and also what are all the things that need to be made to diversify the cropping pattern which suits the Indian condition, and also what are all the things that need to be made so that the MSP will be effective as well as transparent. So this is what the purpose of the panel. So what is the mandate of the panel is about? So the notification as accurately is said is that, see, the MSP, natural farming as well as crop diversification, these are the three objectives under which the committee will be studying the respective portion. So under MSP portion, the committee has been asked for suggestion to make the MSP effective as well as transparent, and also the panel should make recommendation to strengthen the APMC, that is agriculture marketing system in India. And suggestion also need to be given to give more. This suggestion should be based, should be related to the autonomy to the Commission of Agriculture Cost and Price, and also measure to make it more scientific so that the MSP will be more realistic. So what are all the progress that has been made by the panel for the past 2 years is the committee of the MSP first met on August 22. From then on, the committee has met frequently to deliberate on the subject matter which it was intended to do, and the notification doesn't specify the tenure of the of the committee. So right now the deliberation has been going on the three broader aspects under which it has been formed. So right now the farmers have been protesting in the Delhi. Their mandate is to enact a law which makes MSP as the rights to the farmers. So this is what the thing is about. What are the things which we needed to be further aware of is, should be aware of what is MSP and which is the recommending agency, and which is the which authority has the deciding authority in it, deciding power in it to decide the MSP rates in India. Thirdly, we should also be aware of what are all the crops that comes under MSP. These are all the things which we needed to be further aware of. And secondly, we should be aware of PDS system, which agency is responsible for implementing it, what is the structure of it, and what is the historical aspect of it, and what is the lacunae that is present in it. Thirdly, we should also be aware of the general crops which comes under the respective Rabi as well as Kharif crops. So these are all the things which we needed to be further aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. High in the sky, a new gen high. So the news is related to the recent development that has happened in HAPS, that is HAPS. So how the news has been related with examination. Under prelims, the news is related to general science. Similarly, under mains, it is related to GS paper 3, science and technology, through a subtopic called awareness in the field of IT, space, computers, robotics, nanotech, biotech, and issues relating to IPR. So this is how the news has been related with examination. Let's look into the details of the news. Recently, the Bangalore-based National Aerospace Laboratory has successfully fled a prototype of the new new generation UAV, that is unmanned aerial vehicle. It can fly at the greater height of 20 km above the ground and can remain in the air for months. And the duration could be more than the UAV, the currently the deployed UAV. Such UAVs belongs to class of high flying object called as high altitude pseudo satellite vehicle or high altitude long endurance vehicle. So that is the reason why I have called it as HAPS in short form. So the primary utility for HAPS vehicle is in the field, its utility, why it has been developed is to ensure the effectiveness as well as efficiency in terms of surveillance and then monitoring, and also for the disaster management activities. That is the reason why it is being developed, and HAPS technology is still under development in different parts of the country. Still no country has mastered the technology. Several countries and companies have developed the HAPS in different categories, but no company or no country have fully captured or fully fully captured the technological domain of the technological necessity, or what are the things that is necessary for developing a efficient HAPS. No country or no company hasn't captured it. So the current world record of flying higher is held by Airbus's Zephyr, and that flew for 64 days continuously. So this is the longest day being flew by the Zephyr HAPS. The prototype being tested by NIL has spent 8 hours in the air, and next month the CSIR based unit, that is the National Aerospace Limited, which is present in the Bangalore, plans to keep a vehicle in the air for the at least 24 hours, and the full scale of the NIL, that is the broader objective of the NIL, is to build HAPS by 2027, which could remain in the air for 90 days at a stretch. So this is what the long term objective of the HAPS, which is being developed by NIL. And what is the need for HAPS is, see, the kind of job that the HAPS are meant to do are currently being done by unmanned aerial vehicle as well as the satellites, but these two are suffering certain lacunae. What are all the lacunae? We will look into it. So in terms of UAV, mostly they are battery powered and can't remain in the air for longer period of time because of the draining of power. Thus, continuous monitoring cannot be done by them. So there is some disruption because of this battery storage mechanism being adapted by UAV, and they fly at the lower height, because of which they could not able to cover a broader area, which like in the case of satellite or the HAPS. And secondly, the satellite which is present at the higher distance can cover a bigger area, but the one in the satellite that is present in the lower Earth orbit, it is continuously moving around the Earth. As a result of which, it could not continuously monitor a particular region for longer period of time. So, and this is the lacunae in the satellite monitoring system, and they can't, as I said, they can't constantly keep an eye on the places. And the geostationary satellite, which is located at nearly 36,000 kilometer above the ground, can keep a constant eye on the area which it was or it is been intended to do. But these are fairly expensive, and at the same time they could not be redeployed for the other operational purpose. Basically, the geostationary satellite are so rigid that they will be used only for the operation which it was intended to do, and it is difficult to redeploy it for the other programs. HAPS are meant to overcome this limitation which is being imposed by satellites as well as UAV. And HAPS in comparison with UAV could able to fly at longer heights and at the fast speed of 80 to 100 km per hour, which is very less than, the speed is very less than the UAV because of its slow speed, as well as at the high more height when compared to UAV. It could able to cover the longer ranges of the area continuously, and at the same time they could in terms of data, it could able to cover an area up to 200 square kilometer, and they can even observe everything around 400 square kilometer area with 5 meter resolution. HAPS vehicle works like geostationary satellite, but it is flexible than the geostationary satellite. Why? Because this HAPS vehicle could be redeployed for the other programs, and it could also be easily adapted for the disaster management activities. So this is what the need or necessity for HAPS is about. And what is the engineering challenges being faced under the HAPS is, see, the primary challenge is to generate enough solar power to keep the aircraft flying, and at the same time there to avoid the drainage of battery. Secondly, there is a design related challenge, that is the aircraft need to be extremely lightweight. So extremely lightweight, because of which it is necessary that the solar panel need to be more efficient, because more amount of solar panel will be leading to higher weightages in the HAPS, which in turn will reduce the efficiency of the HAPS performance. So in order to reduce the weights of the HAPS, which is flying at the distance of more than 20 km above the land, the solar panels that is fitted with the HAPS need to be more efficient, and at the same time it need to be stable. That is the reason why it is going to be flown at the stratospheric area, where the wind speed will be very stable and which is more suitable for the aeroplane to move from one place to another. And that is the but there is another advantage in that area. Why? Because what is the disadvantages is that, so in that zone the temperature could drop to minus 50 degrees Celsius, but the HAPS technology or any other electronic technology need to be kept at certain warmer condition. The drastic reduction in drastic reduction in the climate or weather system will be damaging the parts of the HAPS. And also at the same time the air density is 7% of what it is present at the sea level. This will also pose a technical challenges to the HAPS. And at the same time, because as I said initially, because of the space as well as weight limitation, the solar panels need to be more efficient to generate more amount of power with less amount of equipments. and HAPS is being checked with limitation of energy density, design materials, aerodynamics as well as aeroelasticity. So these are all the engineering challenges being posed by HAPS in the recent researches. So the early start advantages, apart from the other electronics as well as electronics, electricals as well as other technological factor which India is right now vying on, India is also competing with other countries to enter into the market of apps. So early adaptation will be leading to the capacity building, technological enhancement, and at the same time patent related advantage will also be borne by India, and at the same time it will lead to business opportunities and then employment generation. So these are all the things or the positive things which is related to the early adaptation or early research and development in HAPS. So what are all the things which we needed to be further aware of is we should be aware of what is UAV, what are all the different types of UAV, and what is satellites, and what are all the different types of satellites that is being launched by ISRO, and what is orbit, and what are all the different types of orbit, and what are all the different technologies. For example, nanotech, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality. These are all the different types of technologies which we should be further aware of. And these are all the overall things which we needed to be further aware of apart from the news which you have seen in these slides. And with this, we have reached the end of this topic. India is susceptible to the trade dispute without permanent solution for the food security. So the news is related to the susceptibility of India at the WTO because of lack of the confusion that is prevailing over the wordings of the peace clause. So this is what the news is about. First, we will look into the linkage of the news with the examination. Under prelims, the news is related to economic and social development. Similarly, under mains, it is been related to GS paper 3, economic and development, under a subtopic called Indian important international institution, agency, fora, as well as the structure and mandate. So this is how the news has been related with examination. Let's look into the further details of the news. As I said, India is susceptible to trade disputes at WTO, and it faces these subsidy challenges being posed by the developed countries and also certain private organizations. A permanent solution at WTO will give India and the coalition of the other developing countries flexibility to provide subsidies in their respective countries, and then giving higher farm support could land India into legal disputes at WTO on account of distortion of the global trade. Not only this accusation is not only made by developed countries but also other private organizations, most importantly the international organization. India is facing a legal pushback from Keynes Group, which is the group of agriculture exporting company which is exporting the agriculture related products to countries like Australia, Brazil, Canada. What it is saying is that India's public stock holding is right now distorting the global trade, as a result of which it is leading to food insecurity in the least developing countries. This is what the charge being made by this private organization at WTO against India. And it also, as I said, it is affecting the food security of others. This is what the charge that has been made by the organization. And the peace clause which is being inserted in the WTO agreement at the 13th Bali ministerial meeting, this peace clause enables the developing countries to breach the 10% ceiling that has been fixed for subsidy. But this the wordings that has been present in the peace clause are ambiguous and doesn't know, the countries which is supporting the subsidy does not know how the provision will be interpreted when it is going to the WTO dispute panels. And India has invoked the peace clause several times at the WTO for because of the COVID as well as the related disruption that it has happened in the economy. So what the wordings says, the peace clause wordings says is, see, the peace clause says that if you are distorting the trade due to your subsidies, but nobody will sue you provided you meet the certain conditions. The condition includes that the country should not hurt the food security of other country. So this is what the ambiguous term that has been inserted into the peace clause of the WTO, and this term could be interpreted differently. So that is the reason why India is right now pitching for the permanent solution at WTO. So this is what the thing is about, and what the government officials have also said is that, so India will not discuss any other issues on agriculture as long as the issue of this peace clause is resolved and permanent solution is being reached at the WTO. So this is what the thing with regards to the food subsidy at the WTO. What are the things which we needed to be further aware of is, we should be aware of the food subsidy in India, what are the different types of food subsidy that has been given in India, and we should be aware of midday meal scheme, which are all the agencies being involved in it. Thirdly, we should be aware of the Food Corporation of India, the PDS system, and as well as the MSP system in India. So these are all the things which we needed to be further aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. ISRO to launch INSAT 3DS on February 17, and its aim is to improve the forecasting system. So this is what the news is about. Let's look into the linkage of the news with examination. Under prelims, the news is related to general science. Similarly, under mains, the news is related to awareness in the field of IT, space, computers, robotic, nanotech, biotech, and issues relating to IPR. This is how the news has been related with examination. Okay, let's look into the details of the news. See, the extreme climates that is affecting the country will soon be facilitated with data and high resolution image of the Earth's, which is going to be obtained from the INSAT 3DS, which is going to be launched in February 17, and it weighs around 2274 kgs, and it is being funded by Ministry of Earth Science, and it will enable the development of newer satellites products, newer satellite related products, which could enable or increase the efficiency of the tracking system that is present for the cyclone, which is present to track the cyclones, monsoon system, thunderstorm, natural disaster, and any other environmental factors. And the INSAT 3DS will further the observation of atmosphere, land as well as oceans, and it is the third generational meteorological satellite series from geostationary orbit. And what meteorologists are saying is that meteorologists make extensive use of the data generated by the earlier satellites like INSAT 3DR and as well as INSAT 3D, which has been launched in 2016. Since 2003, IMD has been using the INSAT data for its operational purposes, and the advent of satellite based products brought significant improvement in the forecast accuracy as well as monitoring accuracy, which in turn has reduced the livelihood damages which is being brought by the environmental disasters. And at the same time, this INSAT 3DS comprised of 4 payloads: imager, sounder, data relay transponder, and the satellite aided search and the satellite aided search and rescue transponder. So these are all the payloads which will be fitted into the INSAT 3DS. In that, the sounder will contribute to the generating vertical profiles of the atmosphere and provide informations like temperature and humidity. So these are all the different payloads which is going to be inserted into the 3DS, and this is what the objective of the sounder, a payload which is going to be inserted into the 3DS. So what is GSLV F-14, which is the launch vehicle which is going to carry the INSAT 3DS. So it is the more advanced rocket utilizing the liquid propellant, and it has high capacity, and at the same time it uses cryogenic liquid propellant in all the 3 stages. So this is how this is what the details with regards to the launching vehicle of the INSAT 3DS is about. What are the things which we needed to be further aware of is, we should be aware of what is GSLV, what is PSLV, what is the difference between both of them. Secondly, we should also be aware of what is orbit, what are all the different types of orbit that is present. Thirdly, we should be aware of the structure, function, as well as the administrative authority or the administrative ministry of meteorological organization. So this is what the things that we should be further aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. World needs inclusive government, clean as well as free of corruption. So this is what the thing that has been said by Prime Minister at the World Government Summit, which is being held at Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. So first we will look into the linkage of the news with the examination. Under prelims, the news is related to current events of national as well as international importance. Similarly, under mains, it has been related to GS paper 2 under a subtopic called bilateral, regional, global groupings and agreements involving India or affecting the India's interest. So this is what the news is about. The linkage of the news with the examination is about. Okay, let's look into the details of the news. The Prime Minister has said the citizens should neither feel absence of government nor the pressure of the government. This is because there need to be minimum government as well as maximum governance. Government need to be inclusive, clean as well as free of corruption, and the world is right now facing on the one hand the progressive things, like in the case of technological enhancement, and also at the same time it also faces challenges from the earlier centuries, and these challenges are right now being intensified, and terrorism is also diversified into various forms, and it is bringing new challenges to the present government and also the common people. So this is what the thing that has been pitched by India at World Government Summit. And recently India and UAE has signed the bilateral investment promotion as well as the port infrastructure development and power trade, and then interlinking of instant payment platforms like UPI, credit as well as debit card, and then intergovernmental framework agreement on IMEC, that is India Middle East Economic Corridor. This is what the thing that is related to the news is about. Let's look into what is this World Government Summit is about. It is the annual global gathering that brings world leaders, policy makers, experts as well as the thoughtful leaders from various fields to discuss as well as address the pressing global issues, which in turn will ensure that there will be inclusive global framework that will be formed against the global threat, which will be percolated into the respective government's policy decision. And it was established in 2013 and by Vice President and Prime Minister of UAE, and it is held in Dubai in United Arab Emirates, and the summit has championed the mission of shaping the future governments and creating a better future for humanity. So this is what the details relating to the summit is about, and that this year's theme is shaping the future government, and it focuses on 6 main themes, that is government acceleration and transformation, and artificial intelligence and next frontiers, and reimagining development and future economics, and future societies and education, and sustainability and the new global shift, urbanization and the global health priorities. So these are all the main focus area of this summit. So this is what the details of the summit is about. Let's look into what are all the things which we needed to be further aware of. Should be aware of India UAE relationship, the historical aspect as well as the Middle East geography, and then the recently announced IMEC, the corridor, and which are all the countries involved in it, what are all the trade routes that will be included under it, and we should be aware of the entire geographical aspect of it. These are all the things which we needed to be further aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. Let's move on to today's practice prelims question. Mentioned here is the today's practice prelims question. So those students, those who are watching this session online, please do comment the option point for the question which you are seeing right now on the board. So with this, we have reached the end of today's session. Please do like, comment, share as well as subscribe Ganesh IAS YouTube channel, so that you will be receiving daily current affair notification and also weekly environmental science and tech notification.